Hey everyone, so today I am doing my Netflix recommendations. I actually just filmed a whole video, so if I'm looking the same in two videos, you know why. I was watching the Tinder Swindler a couple of days ago and I put it on my stories and said I asked if you wanted a Netflix recommendations video, and I did get a vote for yes. I got a few, so I thought I would share it with you. So I've got a couple, I've like categorized them, but they're not in any rating, if that makes sense. So I've got a few series, a couple of reality shows, and a few comedy romance movies, because that's the only type of movies I watch. I don't watch thrillers or horror movies or like action movies. It's just not my thing. I like only comedies and romance movies, so that's what I'm going to be suggesting. So if you like the sounds of all of those, stick around and give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you like my content. But let's go ahead and get started. So I've got two reality shows, one of them being the Tinder Swindler, which is what I watched a few days ago. My mum watched it and I've seen it online and stuff, and people are talking about it. Now there's memes about this guy. It's hilarious. So I watched it. It's like a 2-hour long documentary or something, and oh my god. I'm just going to try not to do any spoilers. I'm just going to give you like the gist of what the shows are about. But this is basically, so Tinder is a dating app, if you don't know, and this guy swindles women. So basically like a catfish story is what it is, like stealing them of money and all that type of stuff. It's insane, this show. You need to watch. It's obviously based on true events from 3 different women, and they each have very similar stories but not at the same time. So definitely check out the Tinder Swindler. It's a great documentary. And the second reality show that I have is called Love is Blind, and my mum and I are obsessed with this show. So they've just come out with season 2. We watched season 1, I think it was a couple of years ago, and then they had like a reunion of everyone from season 1, and now this is a brand new season, season 2, and we are waiting for the finale, which is on Friday. We cannot wait. But basically how the show works, it's a dating show. So it's called Love is Blind because you're meant to like, it's an experiment to see if you can fall in love with a person without actually having seen them. So they have 15 guys and 15 girls. They have separate living quarters, and they have something called the pods. And so they're like lined up like beehives. Imagine beehives like that. And so they have like 1 row for the boys and 1 row for the girls, and people go in, like 1 boy goes in, 1 girl goes in, and they can't see each other, they can only hear each other. There is a wall blocking them off, so they cannot see anything, they can only hear each other, and they get to date everyone. Like everyone dates everyone. It sounds so weird, but and they get to form connections with these people just from speaking to them. You don't get to see them until and only if you propose to them. So they date for, I think it's 2 weeks. They can date as many people as they want, and obviously some like more than 1 person, some like 2 people, and you got to choose from them. Other times it's an instant connection with just 1 person, and the guy proposes to the girl, and then they get to meet each other once they are engaged, and they meet each other like there's 2 rooms and it's blocked off, and the doors open like this, and you get to see the person that you've been speaking to and who you're now engaged to. And then once they have all the couples, you know, made up, and then they go on a honeymoon, or get to see if their emotional connection actually transforms into physical connection and all those juicy things like that. Every couple that's there actually gets to meet everyone else. So some people see people that they dated in the pods that are now engaged to someone else, and that's when all the drama starts. It is so fun, so entertaining, and after 4 weeks of being engaged, they can have their wedding. But what happens in the wedding is they either get to say yes, they do want to get married, or no, they don't. So they actually go up to the altar, have an actual wedding, family, friends, everything is there, and they get to decide whether they want to marry this person or walk away. It is a very interesting show, and it is it's a really cool experiment. It keeps you going up until the very end, whether that couple is going to be married or not. So definitely check out Love is Blind. They have 2 seasons, and they also have a Love is Blind Brazil as well. And my mum and I watched that season too, and that's pretty good because they translate it in English. So, and it's got subtitles and stuff. So it's great to watch. So those were my 2 reality shows. Now moving on to my series. I'm sorry if this video is long because I'm trying to explain sort of what it's about as well. But this series hooked me from the very first episode, and there are 2 seasons as of now. There is a season 3 coming out, and it's called Manifest. Oh my god, this is not something that I thought I would ever be interested in. Like I said, I'm more like a comedy, reality type person, not at all like this. But Manifest is basically, I guess it's like a sci-fi suspense thriller type thing, but it's about this family in particular, but also there's other passengers, and they get on this flight. It's called 828 is their flight, and they're going from, I think they go to New York from Jamaica, from Jamaica to New York. But something happens on that plane, and they actually land in New York 5 years after they took off. It's insane, honestly. But they don't know that. They've just been on a flight and they've just gotten off. But they've gotten off 5 years in the future. But all their other family and friends have moved on with their lives. People have met other people. I'm not going to give too much away because I don't want to spoil anything, but they basically have to cope with that. And they also, another suspenseful thing, a little bit of a spoiler, is they have something called the callings, where they can hear their own voices telling them things, to do things, and it seems like it's for the good of these people that they're saving as well as for themselves, but we don't know yet. So the way season 2 ended is we have no idea what's going on. I was so confused when it ended. So definitely check out Manifest. I was hooked on that show. I watched it every single day, and I finished those 2 seasons in, I would say, like 2 to 3 weeks. And each episode is about 35 minutes long, so it's very interesting. And I even got my mum and my sister interested in it, and like I said, they are like me, they don't watch stuff like that, so this is very interesting. The second series is called Sweet Magnolias, and this is something more like up my alley, what I would normally watch. And all I'm going to say is I very much relate to this show. I'm not going to say how, but I can literally, it's like watching my life sometimes. And Haley Pusey, who's also here on YouTube, her and I talk about it because she was watching it, and it's so good. It's like a little bit cheesy, a little bit cliche, like it's such a small town, and it's basically about these 3 women that are best friends, and you need to watch the rest too. It's like a soap opera type thing, but it's a very PG rated type of soap opera. It's a little bit cliche and cheesy, but it's kind of like a happy feeling type of show too. So that's a nice one. The third one is a true crime show. It's an old show, but it's one that I have rewatched time after time, and it is The People versus OJ Simpson. And this is such an interesting show. If you don't know about the OJ Simpson trial, which I'm sure a lot of people know about it, I wasn't even born when this happened, and I know about it. So it's so interesting. I think the actors that they picked couldn't have picked better. I do feel like Robert Kardashian, who David Schwimmer played him, I do feel he was a little bit tall for Robert, and Cuba, who played OJ, I feel like he's not as tall as OJ, and also OJ has a very charming way of speaking, and his personality, I feel like Cuba comes off a little bit more angry and stuff. So that, other than that, I think Marsha is amazing. Whoever, what is this lady's name? Sarah Paulson, I think, who played Marsha Clark, and she is so good. That show, every time I watch it, every time I hear about this case, I always think I've made up my mind, OJ did it. And then I watch it and I think, maybe he didn't do it. Like I still have not made up my mind, and I've watched that show at least 10 times. It's super, super interesting. The next one is it is my happy place. My mum and I call it our happy place, and that is Friends. It is an iconic series. There is no show like it till this day. You cannot tell me that Modern Family or anything is like Friends. I do not believe it. I think Friends is the best comedy series that I have ever seen, and the rest is history. And the next show is The Big Bang Theory. Now this is something that I normally, again, wouldn't normally watch, like these quirky shows, because after watching Friends, I'm like, there is no other show that can do it for me. But yes, Big Bang Theory is hilarious. Sheldon is like the star of that show. I definitely prefer Friends over Big Bang Theory, but it's a really, really funny show. And yeah, I find like, I feel very comfortable when I watch that show. There's just some familiarity with that show, so yeah, I do like that one. And the last series that I have is The Crown. I love anything to do with the royal family. I watch all the documentaries on them. I'm a little bit of a royal family geek, and one of my things on my bucket list is to go to London and go to all the spots like Buckingham Palace and Westminster Abbey and all of that. So one day maybe. Until then I can live through The Crown. But it is such a good show, and like I said, the actors are so good. I did get a little bit upset like for the first 2 seasons, because you had the young Queen and Prince Philip, and then when they got to season 3 they had to age them obviously, and I didn't like the new actors playing them. I got so used to seeing the Queen and Prince Philip in that way, but then once I got used to these characters, and now season 5 is coming up, and they've picked Professor Umbridge from Harry Potter, which is going to ruin it slightly for me because I'm only going to see her as that, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. It is such an interesting show. It's historical, it is monumental, it is iconic, and it takes you through everything that's happened since the Queen's father died and all of that type of thing. And so season 4 is probably the best because it's about Charles and Diana and their wedding, and I know season 5 is going to be hectic because it's the 90s where, you know, Fergie and Prince Andrew split up and Charles and Diana, that whole situation happened, and yeah, I cannot wait for season 5. Okay, moving on to my comedies and romance movie recommendations. All of these are just, I'm sure everyone has heard of them and everyone's watched them, but I'm just going to put it out there. These are my favorite movies to watch, and the first one is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey are like the perfect romantic comedy couples. Like, they have such great chemistry, and I just love this movie. It is hilarious. It is a chick flick. It is just funny and it's sweet at the same time. So that one. And I love Bride Wars too, Anne Hathaway and Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson's one of my favorite actresses actually. And what's the other one? Oh, I didn't put it on here because I don't know if it's on Netflix, but anyway, Devil Wears Prada, that's another one of my favorite chick flicks. And yeah, Bride Wars, I love it. It's my favorite movie to watch with my sister. We've watched it many times. And the next movie is a really sweet movie. I've watched this one a couple of times too, and it's called The Holiday, and it is Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz, and it's such a sweet movie, like a romantic comedy as well. That's a nice one. This one my mum and I watched, and it's called Daddy's Home, and it's Mark, oh god, what is his name? Mark, like, you know, it's so funny, and it's Will Ferrell as well in that. It's such a funny movie about a stepdad and a real dad, and sort of merging their worlds together with the children and the ex-wife, and it is hilarious. That's a really good one. And another one of my favorite actresses is Jennifer Aniston, and Just Go With It is such a funny movie. I think that she plays that role so well. Every time I watch her, you know that scene where she takes the bikini off and the other girl, the younger girl, is there, and she's apparently in this movie, Jennifer Aniston has 2 kids, and she takes this bikini off and she's got this amazing body. I watch that, I'm like, yes. I just love that movie, so that's a really good one. And the last one is called Mother's Day, and it's such a sweet movie, a little bit sad and stuff here and there. It's got such an amazing cast. It's got Julia Roberts in it, Jennifer Aniston, Kate Hudson, the list goes on and on, so you will like that movie. So I hope you guys liked my Netflix recommendations. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me your Netflix recommendations down below because I would love to watch them as well. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!